So last month I decided to watch Boruto. I had been following the manga for over a year, and I will occasionally watch an episode recap from Naruto Explained about their current episode on Sunday, or I will watch whatever episode Sasuke was in. That would be about it. So I was in the loop about what was going on. I think what really pushed me over the edge about wanting to catch up with the series is that I've been reading the light novels, and I wanted to dive a little deeper than just the manga, because in my opinion the manga is not good, especially for side characters. So this is my thought on catching up with the show. Just to let y'all know, I am a super big Naruto fan, so I'm not gonna criticize the show, but I am gonna give my critique on it and be honest. Also, side note, I really don't want to be comparing Boruto to Naruto or Naruto Shippuden, because one, Naruto is that much better than Boruto, but I will compare it to your newer shows like My Hero and Black Clover and stuff like that, because they premiered around the same time. So first I'm going to start out with the negatives, because I want to end on a positive note. I'm really not a big fan of Boruto's character for the most part. There are some aspects that I like, and we'll get into that later. But Boruto arguably has the worst main character syndrome I've ever seen, and it low-key makes me hard to root for him. Oftentimes he rushes into battle without even thinking, but the funny thing is he still wins battles way out of his league. He's been beating ninja that a group of jonin can't beat when they were headed to the Hidden Stone Village. Or when he was in the Mist Village for the field trip, he was fighting those group of people that stole the Hidden Mist swords. If you're getting beat out here by a ninja that's barely a getting, I really don't know what to tell you. I guess that's just block armor on a whole new level. And honestly, he doesn't even have anything to hold him back as for him doing whatever he wants to do. For example, like with Hunter x Hunter, Gon had Killua. Killua was a trained assassin. He's about that life. He been about that life. He was not about to let Gon do anything reckless. He tried to. Gon got hit upside the head. You know what I mean? And with Ichigo, he couldn't do whatever he pleased because he was only a substitute Soul Reaper. So if they really wanted him to not enter Soul Society, they could have. Boruto really doesn't have anything to just hold him back. He barely listens to Jonin like Konohamaru, and at that point he barely even listens to his teammates. That's why Sarda is constantly on his head, because he never listens. But I was kind of thinking maybe Kawaki would kind of be that cage, because not cage, but like somebody to keep him on in check. Because when he was trying to fight Delta and he was like, "Oh my gosh, Dad, let me help you," and Kawaki was like, "What are you gonna bring to the table that Naruto's not? I don't think that's a good idea. You are dumb." That's basically what he said. And another thing about the fact that he's always rushing in, he hardly has any battle experience. He claims he beat Momoshiki, but he was barely there to begin with. And he's only really had one life or death mission, and that was when they fought against Deepa the first time. He's constantly asking for an S-rank mention like, "You're a getting, please relax." Sasuke trying to rein him in all the time, but I don't know if that's getting through. For example, like Deku for My Hero, him and his classmates have been in multiple life-threatening situations, especially when they were in the forest, when they were training or whatever, and Bakugo got taken. They have been in those situations enough to know that they are not ready to be in those situations, especially just by themselves. And the last thing about Boruto is, why is his moral compass so high? I understand you're your dad's son, you be trying to talk no jutsu, but it really does not be hitting the same. You trying to save random strangers and enemies. I really don't get it. He would try to save ninja from other villages like the Haze or the Mist, and then question them from their actions. Miss Girl, this is not the Leaf. Everybody's not soft. Everybody did not grow up under the same circumstances as you did. When he said Jugo could never be free, and Boruto gave him the Walmart version of the Talk no Jutsu, bruh, what did you not just see? If he goes on a rampage, people are going to die. He cannot live freely. He is that bird. When they alluded to that bird, unfortunately, Jugo could not be free. You saw how he was acting. He had Konohamaru in a coma for like 3 days. Well, imagine what he would do to non-ninja. In that same episode arc, Soigisu would show like, who are you talking to? You just met Jugo. I've been known him. Please stay in the child's place. That's why I like Soigisu. He was like, these hands is rated E for everybody. He literally fought Samira and her group, and Karan was like, "Why would you attack a group of girls?" And he was like, "They attacked me first." It's really self-defense. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. And also going back to the Talk no Jutsu, When he tries to do that to other people, I just kind of cringe sometimes. Because he didn't grow up like Naruto. I understand he can't help it. But his voice doesn't reach like Naruto's. I saw this one comment, I don't even remember where I was. And they said his English voice actor sounds like a lesbian. And I cannot unhear that every time I hear him speaking English. I just be laughing on the inside because it's true. Like, Naruto's voice is deeper, it's more impactful. English and Japanese, it just has that reach, and it's like, oh, what this nigga got to say? Oh, for real? And oftentimes when he does talk, it's so naive. And I still don't know how he's the most popular character according to the character polls. People really just be liking the main character just to like them, I guess. He's a little on the more annoying side for me. And I know he's the main character and all, but I think he does get too much screen time. Like, sometimes I want the other characters to shine too. In other shows, there are often about 3 to 4 episodes without the main character, and it gives them a nice break to focus on other things outside of the main character, even though this isn't particularly a knock on Boruto. And one last negative thing is, I really did not like how long it took them to graduate from the academy. It took 38 episodes. Like, speed that up. When I went into the show, I'm thinking it's gonna be like 20 at the most. I was wrong. I had to do like my filler list or my episode list to see when they would graduate the academy. That's 2 to 3 seasons for some shows. But anyways, so now for the positives. And I'm gonna be honest, I really do think this show is overhated. It's really not that bad. I mean, I think for now it's still mid, like it's middle of the pack. Not saying like, oh, it's just mid, it's mid. I think it's middle of the pack. But I think most people's problem is that, one, they compare it to Naruto way too much. It's not Naruto, and it will never be Naruto or Naruto Shippuden. This is the same problem with The Legend of Korra. People do not view it as a standalone show, because once you stop comparing it to a legendary show and realize that it's different, you can find qualities that you like. And two, some people base their opinions from other people. They will say that Boruto is trash because someone else said it. And if you ask them why it's trash, they won't even give you reasons for it. The same thing with Black Clover. I heard it was garbage. And then when I went to go see it for myself and gave it time, I realized that people just say stuff over the internet to fit in, and they don't want to have a different opinion from one of their mutuals on Twitter. And like, oftentimes they'll try to get you to believe what they want to believe. Like, it's this little meme that's going around. I've seen it a couple times. Not a meme, but like an insert. And they compared Boruto episode 33 to Naruto episode 33. And of course, if you compare a filler episode to a non-filler episode, I'm sure you'll get the same results. Like, I can do it too. But I definitely think with the new director for Boruto, things will continue to be on the up and up. It's been episodes directly related to the manga for a minute, and I'm excited to see how the animation will look. We will have Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen this Sunday, and after that, it only gets more exciting. Although in the beginning, Boruto was anime canon for the most part, I enjoyed the content that they put out. I really thought this show had a lot of filler, but I guess they learned from the Shippuden days. When I first started watching, I told myself I was going to skip any of the slow parts, but I found out only doing that for a handful of times. The anime canon arcs they put out kept me wondering what would happen next, especially when Mitsuki left the village to go to the Hidden Stone and they had to chase to find the Hashirama cells, and when they fought Deepa for the first time. I enjoyed seeing them grow and learn as a team and seeing the squad come together, since they are basically non-existent in the manga. And speaking of the side characters, I really like how the older generation is present from time to time, and they aren't in the spotlight as much, and it's nice to see them doing their day-to-day tasks. But please do not get me started with Naruto. Every time I see my Hokage, I just smile at the screen sometimes, because he's accomplished his dream, and usually it's uncharacteristic of me to fangirl at someone other than Sasuke. But still, I watched Naruto accomplish his dream, and I feel like a proud parent. And some of the other smaller positives is that the OST, even though I don't think the openings are that good except for the latest one, the soundtrack on the show is done pretty well. And I'm not sure who is in charge of the OSTs, but all of Naruto's shows have had an at least above average. And I just love that the OST for Kara is just so fitting and mysterious. It kind of I wouldn't say it's on the same level as the Akatsuki, because the Akatsuki was a completely different group than Kara. Even though it's not on the same level as the Akatsuki's OST theme, but it's still, once you hear that, you like, oh yeah, we got Kara in this episode, we got Kara on the screen, stuff like that. And the High Alert OST, when, I think that's what it's called, when Delta ran up on Naruto, it really just made that scene 1,000 times better. And it was just like Delta flying in, Naruto like, oh yeah, what's up? She hitting the ground, and it's just like, oh my gosh, that was just so fitting. And also, it is really nice to see Kawaki opening up more to Boruto and the members of his team, because in the manga, he was just a straight hole. There was really no other way to put it, straight butthole. Didn't want to do nothing, have an attitude with everybody. It was nice to see him turn the corner, and I'm interested to see the dynamic between him and Boruto. And speaking of Boruto, I actually do have some nice things to say about him, even though the first 5 or 6 minutes or so was me absolutely airing him out. Some of the stuff that I liked was him making Kawaki put the vase together after he broke it. Even though Boruto is persistent, I like it when he's persistent when it comes to other characters and not disobeying orders from Jonin. But I really do think the main reason that Kawaki is turning the corner is due to Boruto. And if it was just him and Naruto, I don't think his change would have happened so gradually. And it's also nice to see Boruto being a brother. In Naruto, it is rare to see family relationships. Like, I didn't even know Hinata had a sister until Naruto Storm 5. It's just like, who is this random character? So it's a good change of pace to see Himawari, and she is just the absolute sweetest. Before I started watching, I was like, why do so many people like her? And I see why. She can do no wrong in my eyes. Speaking of someone else who can do no wrong, Mitsuki, he's low-key my favorite character from the new generation. He is quiet, but he's also about that action. And he's the most level-headed in Team 7, and I just think he's cool. He has a nice character design. I like his kimono. He's mysterious because he's made by Orochimaru. He's literally Orochimaru's son. I just find that funny. So yeah. And lastly, one thing I really do like about Boruto is his fighting style. I like the way he uses his clones, especially with the Boruto stream. He's way more creative when it comes to Naruto. Like, who would have thought you could have launched yourself in the air with one style to make you go faster? I just find that so funny. But in conclusion, I do not think Boruto is a bad show by any means. And by the end of the year, I'm expecting a lot more people to come around. But there are going to be 2 major fights coming up. Kind of 2 to 3 major fights coming up this year. And I heard there was going to be a time skip in the manga soon. So I'm definitely a passenger on the Boruto train. And I hope more people can get to love it, because when people bring up the show, it's a laughing stock. So if you have any comments, or if you agree or disagree on some of the points I made, feel free to leave a comment. And please like, rate, subscribe. Peace and chicken grease.